On Second Shot, we tackle 2 new headlines every week to find out what kind of wisdom the world is dishing out today. And we want you to be a part of that. When you see a headline you want to take a second shot at, or if you're looking for advice, or just want to tell us what you think of the show, email us at secondshotcast@gmail.com. If you like what you hear, rate us on iTunes. This helps us move up in the ratings so more people will see us. And if you want to hear more, subscribe to the show so that the new episodes will get straight to you every single Friday. We love you. Thanks for listening and enjoy.
There's a lot of news in the world today.
News that might surprise you, startle you, upset, or maybe impress.
News that's not always for the faint of heart.
That's why the man who failed his way to success, Heath Oakes, is stepping up.
Tackling today's headlines with ignorance on fire in a way only a millennial mogul can.
Take off your sport coat, grab a beer, and enjoy the conversation.
This is Second Shot with your host, Heath Oakes.
I have one recommendation for everybody in the world. Never try to do too many projects that have to deal with construction people ever in your life, or you will want to pull your own hair out. We've got Jenny and I have about $2 million worth of property that are building or being constructed, doing some renovations with, whatever, some of the real estate we have.
Deep breath.
You want to talk about push your patience?
Yeah.
The day I find a contractor that will actually do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it, I'm going to be the most amazed person. They're like the most.
That sounds like a job offer to anybody who's listening.
They're the most spazoid people in the world. Like they never.
Well, don't generalize, babe.
Right.
We've done how much real estate, and I'm telling you, I cannot. I'm not being a generalization as much as I'm just saying this is a fact from my experiences.
From his experience, do not.
And it's been a lot of experiences.
You can hate back on him if you're a contractor, or we'll hire you.
There you go. So there's a reason 635 is always under construction. Is that what I'm hearing? Like it just never ever gets done ever.
It's a nightmare. I'm telling you.
Is that the problem? Deadlines and things like that? Or
they just never do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. Like if they say it's going to be done by Friday, I know for sure it's not going to be done until the Friday after that.
Yeah.
And I would bet money on it, and I'll win if it was saying that. Like it just drives me absolutely nuts.
I wish.
I'm not talking about small, $20,000 deals here. I mean, like, you know what I mean?
This used to be a positivity podcast.
Right.
This is therapy now.
Yeah, this is therapy. This is tough. This is. I'm not a patient.
No, you've
I'm
got
not
to work
good
on
at
that,
being
babe.
patient.
We got a roof over our heads.
Okay, I know I'm not good at being patient. So this is a struggle of mine, anyways. Yeah. And so when you put that much of it on me at once, I got to break somewhere, right? I can
respect. Where better than the Second Shot podcast? Yeah. That's right. I wish there was a way we could very quickly and easily go back and find every time you've ever talked about construction on this show and just put it together in
it would
one
make
epic
a whole
montage.
Special episode.
Yeah.
It would probably be 30 minutes
of
worth.
Just Heath Oakes, these people just slowly degrading and getting less patient.
I may start a construction company next just to do it better.
Yeah. Hey, you got to fill.
And then you
may
find that everything that they're up against, and then you may relate to them.
Well, it's kind of perfect for one of the headlines we got here because talk about a company that really sets herself apart from everybody else, and that how they really stick out and do things. Like if a contractor would just be on time and what they promise they deliver on, they could be unique and would be in high demand. Like this headline.
This is good stuff. A chain of Texas convenience stores with a cult-like following chooses to display pay, vacation time, and its 401k plan on big signs, and it doesn't plan to stop anytime soon. Any listeners out there playing at home will know this is Buc-ee's.
Oh, yeah.
You know it. You love it. You probably have an overpriced T-shirt. It's a Texas-based chain of convenience stores. It's acquired a cult following in Texas. You guys have probably seen this. You've both been to Buc-ee's, I'm sure. They have these big signs that hang in public right in the doorway of each door in their ridiculously oversized gas stations that say exactly that. Here's our pay, standard for everybody. This is starting and the manager pay. This is vacation time, how much you get. Here's our 401k plans. And this is public facing. They put it in front of the door so anybody can see it. It's very odd. And what this is about is essentially that it seems to kind of work for Buc-ee's. Not only do customers seem to respond to it well, but they get people to work there who are excited to see numbers like that. So what do you guys think about this?
Well, and first of all, welcome my wife Jenny in. I forgot that when we got Zach and Matt in studio, guys. Forgot to do that, so I'm back at that. Now, Buc-ee's, if you don't know what Buc-ee's is, it is the Walmart of gas stations. And it is almost the size
incredible.
of Walmart. But it is always, everybody that works there are almost always super nice, super good people. It's a very good feeling. The bathrooms are spotless. And it's literally just it's an experience.
Which is impressive because it's always packed. I've never been when it hasn't been busy. And that's not to say it's a bad experience.
But that's the thing is it's packed and it's not a bad experience. That's amazing.
Yeah, really good point.
Yeah, it's amazing how that happens. So it's a very unique experience that you have to go to, want to go to, that a lot of people do. And they pay above average than everybody else. So it's a wonder why they got good people. But what was your take on this?
So my second shot on this was actually more so about the advertising and the way that they're putting themselves out there and letting people know what they have to offer. And I think that we all need to do this in our own lives. I mean, everybody's got a Facebook page or an Instagram page or something like that. And we see some people in certain industries, it's very they're more inclined to be posting about their stuff, like, if they're a realtor, sure, they're posting the houses that they're selling, or if they're doing a multi-level marketing, sure, they're hitting you up to be in a group or something like that. But we don't do this enough with regard to the skills that we do at work that maybe we could do freelance jobs on, or maybe just that we could offer advice to our friends and family that cater to our passions. For example, I was saying the other day, like, gosh, as many people as I know in media, do I even know somebody that could help me with my website? I don't have anybody out there that's saying, I studied this, or just posting about like, my passion for coding and all this stuff. And Zach posted on and said, hey, you know what? Actually, our company could do that. And that was actually really helpful. I was like, oh, that's right. But we need to be putting out there and letting people know what we have to offer the world.
But wouldn't you say there's two ways of doing it? There's that over top annoying, and then there's another way. So how do you know the line?
But how do you know the line? Here's the thing. No. You put yourself out there as the expert. I'm not saying you ever ask the ask. I'm not in sales. I'm just saying from a sort of marketing perspective. Just so for example, I love journalism. I love telling people stories. I love knowing about the news. I post a lot of news. I might say, oh gosh, it's my reunion coming up for, all of my past journalism students, or here's my journalism professor, or, things like that. So that when people think about, oh, I need a reporter to tell my story, I want them to think of me.
So,
right?
Yeah, no, and that's a great example because and I bring that up because that's what a lot of people walk the line of, being that if they're in sales or something, like they go, well, I don't want to be that annoying person every time around. They're like, oh God, here comes the insurance salesman. Here comes this. There's a way to do it. Not like for me, for instance, I don't post all the time and say, hey, look, I'm hiring salespeople. I want to hire you. What I post is pictures from our cool events and talk about the people that are doing well, that have changed their lives because they've joined this deal. So people ask me about it. So I'm not, because I don't, that's how you put yourself out there. People know what I do. Mm-hmm. People know what I offer, and I don't have to tell them that. I just share my experiences from it all. Like if somebody built websites, instead of saying, hey, you want a website? Can I build your website? Post stuff. Man, I got to build a great website for a person today, and I got to be unique. It was so fun and so awesome, and putting that on a regular basis. And I posted a deal about using the design crowd when I was getting the logo here, and I had a friend from high school comment on there, go, oh, I do design work. I didn't know.
Yeah. So just putting it out there, sharing your passion. People are so attracted to passion, and they want to collaborate with people who have passion. So here's another example. I'm going to call out my mom. She sometimes listens with my dad. She doesn't know how to download podcasts yet, but my dad will play them loud. So my mom works as a housekeeper. She's excellent at it. Top of her game, high demand in their town. And the other thing that my mom's really, really good at, and Heath knows this because she's helped organize our house, is she has really a knack for organizing. And there's a whole career field of professional organizers. Yeah. And I kept saying to her, I wish people knew, I wish her clients knew. But she's too shy, I think, to say, if you ever need, if you're getting ready to move, or if you ever need someone to organize this, I'd be happy to do an extra 4 hours or something like that. On top of that, if not, no big deal. Or even just mentioning to her current clients, hey, I have another client that's having me organize. It's been really fun, or whatever. If she doesn't want to go for the actual sell on that, just because I think that's something that she's really good at and really likes doing.
But she doesn't put it out there, so nobody knows.
No, because she feels like she's putting something on them that they don't want, and I don't look at it that way. I look at it as like, oh, they might not want it now, but maybe a year down the road they're getting ready to move, or their in-laws are coming to town, they want to organize the house. Oh gosh, you know what, she does do that, and maybe she'll come, just even an extra hour or something like that. I just think we need to celebrate our passions in public, so that when we do need to make a sale, then our friends and family and loved ones know what kind of work we want to be doing.
If you're a realtor, when you're going out and you're around people talking about it, you don't sit there and say, hey, I'm a realtor. I can sell your house for you. You go, man, I got to sell this awesome home the other day, and I got to do that. You kind of talk about some of that stuff, and then it's where people know what you're doing, but you're not sitting there bugging them about it, And if you're a manager that is dealing with always having to hire, and you always have horrible employees, you want better ones, when you're out with people, be talking about the experiences of the good employees you have and the things that you do and look for, and somebody go, oh, I know so-and-so, he's an engineer, they're looking for a job, and they're great, blah, blah, blah. That's how you start getting leaned to. But you're right. If you don't put out there what your passions are and what your fire is, then people aren't just going to show up on your doorstep out of the blue.
Yes.
You've got to put it out there. There's the annoying way, which you can go out and say, hey, everybody, buy insurance from me now. Or you post about, I go back to Melissa's story about, how much it impacted her when she was able to get that lady the life insurance and how it changed her life. Post a story about how you just helped somebody because of the insurance you were able to get them. And people will start reaching out to you because you've built that persona and brand. So you can post about your experiences that will tell who you are without bugging people and nagging them about buying your service or using your service or goods. So maybe that'll help you kind of maybe be a household name of people know what you are and what you're looking for and how that passions work without being the nag. So we'll be back in a minute on the second segment of Second Shot.
He's a suit and tie kind of guy with deep Southern roots. Heath Oaks hosts more of Second Shot coming up on RNCN.
To all of my friends in the great state of Texas, if you have not taken advantage, I have a way to save you a ton of money. I have saved over about $3,000 in the last year, and I have no hassle. Go to energyogre.com, put in the promo code SECONDSHOT. Now listen, promo code SECONDSHOT, and you're going to get a free month just for signing up and saving a ton of money. So don't be crazy. Stop sitting around talking about is this the real deal, and go do it right now. energyogre.com, promo code SECONDSHOT, and a free month. Thanks. Go get it now. Run.
Ready? Aim. Fire. Second Shot is back for another round on RNCN.
Well, we're back from Second Shot, and I went completely blank on what I was going to come in with, so it was very interesting.
You had been the king of segues up until now, or
dropping the ball.
I always think you're very good at that. I've complimented you on that many times.
I wasn't at first.
Actually.
I was horrible, and I listened to Chad do it over and over, and he was so good at it.
He's very good at it.
And I just really paid attention to the things he did and kind of why his sounded so much smoother than mine sounded very scripted and not.
Yeah.
And watching him and you telling me too. I mean, that's why it's great. My wife being in her, especially, she's coached me a lot throughout all of this, and I've listened. Have I not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you have. That's why he's so good today.
That's right.
Because of Ginny and Chondo.
Yes.
No, it all makes sense.
I still say Ginny and Chondo. How funny is that?
This next article is from an email. Yeah, Brenda Walker. She's emailed the show before.
Shout to Brenda.
Yeah.
Remember Brenda? She sent in.
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
I would be curious to hear an update on how Brenda's doing too. Thank you for sending the email.
Last update she sent, she was doing well. But
Yeah.
I bet hopefully she'll send one after this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brenda, drop us an email. We'd appreciate it. Another one. Thanks. Anyway, yes, this is one of those articles that comes out that's like a dream article. It's every employee in America wants to hear this. It's like, sounds great. People over 40 should only work 3 days a week. Experts claim. People over 40. The Melbourne Institute of Applied Economics and Social Research at the University of Melbourne invited 3,500 women and 3,000 men in Australia to have their work habits analyzed through a series of cognitive tests. These included simple things like reading words aloud, reciting lists of numbers backwards, matching letters, whatever. They concluded that participants working 25 hours a week performed best, while those working 55 hours or more were even worse than unemployed participants. They kind of went in the middle and looked around, and they said, if you're working 25 or less, you're in a great spot. But as soon as you start to cross over that, you do poorly. This is people over 40, to be fair. This is not most of us.
Because there's something different, I guess.
Right. It's something about, I don't know, your brain starts to slip a little bit the older you get, and memory retention. I'm not sure, but I know there have been articles that come out that said the 4-day work week, this is talking about people working 3 days a week. What do you guys think about this? Who wants to jump on that
I think
grenade?
we have a major problem with work-life balance in America. I think it's started to be, I think that like in recent years, it's become a little bit more trendy for it to be addressed. And, you know, there have been certain solutions, people working from home and things like that. But here's the thing. If your health is not in check, you are not going to be a good employee. You're just not, I mean, not that you're going to be a bad employee, but like you're not going to be optimal. It's like you've got a car and it needs to have premium gas and you're using regular and you're just not at your top efficiency. So I do believe that activities outside of work are so important. And when we have people working 12-hour days, 7 days a week or whatever, I think you can do that for a few years. And I actually think it's totally fine. You got to hustle. You got to do your thing. Heath and I both believe in that. But sure, by age 40, if you're still doing that, you are killing yourself. Mm-hmm. So just from like a health perspective, I think there needs to be a balance. I also think by that point, you should be like maximizing your efficiency. We talked about gossip last episode.
Yeah.
So you cut out the gossip, you cut out the meetings that don't need to be meetings, you cut out all this mumbo jumbo.
Talking about corporate America.
Yes. And let people do their work. The other thing too is I just think when you come in, like think about how efficient you are right after a vacation or just like how revived you feel.
Oh yeah.
After a vacation. So there's that. And I'm going to stop my tangent because Heath, I'm sure has more to say about this. But the other thing too is if we in our minds could kind of think, I need to get all of this done in 3 days, right? Most of us are going to have to work 5. What extra could you do in those 2 other days to maybe maximize your efficiency or prove to your boss, hey, look, I got all of this done. And now can I work on an outside passion project, that would also enhance the company, but also enhance my sort of feel good about my job and the company and all that. So anyway, that's
I don't know if I don't know if there's the set of the X amount of hours a week, if you're over 40, whatever. I'm kind of a different. I would never put time frames on any of my employees. I never have told any of them when to show up, when to leave, or any of that. I could care less about that. I would just say, here's your job. You get your job done. I don't care if you're here 20 hours or 48 hours. That's your choice. I just get the job done. You know what I mean? Now, if you're somebody who the job is not getting done, then you have opened yourself up to where I might say you have to be here from 8 to 5 or whatever because you're not getting the job done, right? So I'm a little different. Like I would never be able to go work at a place where I was told I had to be there when I had to leave, and I had to be there and stay there and leave no matter what. Like when I was selling cars, it drove me nuts. I was 18 years old, and you basically had to be there 6 days a week from, open till close. And you're 100% commission, mind you that, selling cars, right? And if I had a 2-car sale day and I was done at 3 o'clock and I just sold 2 cars and I had all my follow-ups done, like, I don't make money unless I sell cars, right? They're not paying me unless I sell the cars. So I hated the fact that I had to be there all day no matter what.
Right.
Like, that drove me nuts because I may have jumped on it and got my stuff done faster and quicker, followed up on stuff, knocked some stuff out, and can go in and out and
come back the next day a little more vibrant.
Yeah, it made me it made such an impact that I left that business really fast and went on to doing my own thing, right? So I've never really put the restrictions on my people in general. I've never been a be here at this time, leave at that time type thing. Mine is, here's the job you got to get done, get it done, and I don't care. I don't care how many hours that takes you.
I think it's worth kind of looking back, take a history step for a second, from a page out of my dad's book, history teacher. The reason we have the 5-day work week and vacation kind of time and standards we have, the 40 hours a week, is because of Henry Ford. Yeah. Because in Detroit, when they were making Ford automobiles, they didn't really have unions back then, and people were working 80 hours a week, 90 hours a week, and he said, tell you what, you get a job here, you get 40. You work a flat 5 days, 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. That's where it kind of came about. It goes back in the 60s, I want to say.
Now we're asking for 3 days.
Right. Yeah, and now we're jumping to 3. But it's worth kind of looking at and understanding that, we didn't always work 5 days a week. That hasn't always been a thing forever. Maybe there is some motion in fluidity, I guess, and being able to say, well, maybe we should change it. But do you think... Can we generalize across everybody?
No.
We can't.
TV show. I do a TV show Monday through Friday. I need to be there Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
I would want to be.
I don't want my convenience store open 3 days a week when I want to go get me a Monster or something. You know what I mean? I want it to be open.
Where's the convenience in that?
Yeah. It definitely is not something you can generalize. I think in corporate America, there has been a lot more relaxation on being there at 8, leaving at 5. I think that has loosened up some because I think the millennial generation is the type that has really pushed it, that they don't want to be, the baby boomers worked like they worked their life away. They worked for retirement. They worked for whatever, because they were the group that was coming out of all of those bad years and how they were raised in the depression and all that. So it was a big difference, and they missed a lot of life. Where millennials and stuff are one of those that I'm working and I'm living my life. I'm not working to live my life down the road. I'm living my life now. And again, I mean, I'm different because I'm going to give you the job to do, and you get it done.
Yeah.
If you get it done much faster than everybody else, congrats. If you don't. And I think that's why a lot of people procrastinate, because they go, well, I got to be here till 5 anyways. I might as well just wait. And then they rush the project and it doesn't get done correct. I'm just not a fan of wasting time. Like, I don't have meetings to have a meeting. And I always tell people, oh, if you're going to have a leadership meeting and they're like sitting there trying to find material, I go, no. If you're trying to find material, you shouldn't be having the meeting, or B, you need to shorten the meeting. You don't ever find material for a meeting. If you're having a meeting, it should be because you have some material to hit on. You know what I mean?
Point, yeah.
And so just because that meeting may last 3 hours versus 6, it doesn't matter. But people will show up to them because it's worthy of their time, because you're not finding stuff to fill a meeting with. You're doing the meeting because you have stuff to address.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of that wasted time, because you're right, we have a lot of wasted time. Whether I don't think anything can go from a generalization of 3 days, 4 days, or any of that. All businesses are different. And I think that as leaders, they should be looking at ways to maximize their employees and maximize their stuff. Because here's what's funny, though. Those people that all rant and raving about the 3-day work week thing, and what, 20 hours a week? Or
25 a week, I think, yeah.
I guarantee you they don't want to take a pay cut for 25.
Of course not.
But they want to keep getting paid exactly what they're paid right now and want somebody else to eat that. So that's not going to happen, because that's going to be very difficult to do.
So say we woke up tomorrow in a world where in America we had the 4-day work week, right? You get paid the same, 10-hour days, 4 days a week, 3 days off. Better or worse? Would you take it? Would you leave it?
I think that's something you can't generalize. I think it is one of those things that it is a different, if you're in a retail business, you can't.
Yeah.
You want customers there. So you're definitely going to want to be there, I mean, so it's...
no, it'd have to be strictly for corporate. I guess for you, would you prefer it, or would you rather like what you're doing now?
I like what I do now, which is I make really my own schedule and get the results done that I want to get done.
Some days are long, some days are short.
Some days are long, some days are short. I got freedom, but it's all, the only reason that I have freedom is because I have results. If I didn't have results, I wouldn't. And so I'm a firm believer in, if you have results, you get freedom. If you don't, you don't.
Right.
It's fair. I mean, I believe that's fair. You get your job done, and you do it well. I don't care if I got a killer person that's getting their job done, nailing it, and they're only working 25 hours a week. I don't care. I'll keep paying them that because they get the job done right.
Right.
And I want them to keep being happy and stay with me because they're a great employee. So I don't care as long as the job's done right. Now, if you keep missing deadlines, you drop the ball on this, you're always dropping it on this, then you're gonna have. I'm gonna ride you a little bit harder, and you're gonna have to be in there with it, because results, in my opinion, fix everything. You have good results, all the leniency you want. If you don't, if you suck, you're gonna get rode hard. Line of Heath Oaks. If you suck,
you're gonna get rode hard. Maybe but
that may or may not be a redneck slang saying.
Yeah.
For
slang
anybody
saying.
in what, Bahrain?
Could be a thing.
Bahrain.
Bahrain.
Shout to Bahrain.
See, I can't even say it. You know me. But all right. Well, maybe we'll be back in a minute for third segment of Second Shot. Maybe.
Now that's what I call ignorance on fire. More of Second Shot with Heath Oaks still to come.
You guys have been listening to Second Shot and hearing us talk about it. You need to go pick up my book, Ignorance on Fire, A Journey of Failing Your Way to Success. You can get it on Amazon in a paper book. You can also hear this beautiful voice of mine in audiobook style on Audible or anywhere you're going to get your audiobooks. Guys, this book took a lot of time to put into it, and I believe it can really be some life-changing stuff to help you on your path to success. And hopefully you're going to fail your way to success just like I did. Ignorance on Fire, A Journey of Failing Your Way to Success. Amazon.com, Audible.com, audiobooks, paper books, everything. Get it, share it with your people, and I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Go pick it up today.
Kick off your boots or suit up. The choice is yours. Welcome back to Second Shot on RNCN.
See, one of the best things about the Second Shot group on Facebook are the discussions, because, again, we come back to it, and it's a group of people that are all we're all going to be somewhat like-minded because we like this type of podcast and this podcast, right? And so it's great to have some of those different perspectives. And, Second Shot group on Facebook, look it up, join it. It's a closed group, and where you can be with the like-minded people, ask questions, or do any of those things. It's been a great community so far since we just rolled it out a couple weeks back. But I wanted to bring up a couple of the posts that were in there.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of, obviously all of us have seen it, but I mean, talking about it, what some of these people are missing, and some thoughts on them all. How's that sound?
Some good stuff in there.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Also, questions or anything specific you want in private or anything, secondshotcast@gmail.com is the email address that you can email anything to. And I'm going to bring up this person's name because it's my cousin, so I don't care, and he doesn't care.
Coy.
Yeah. So Coy posted in there, he said, had one of those the grass isn't always greener experiences yesterday. Had the chance to interview for another opportunity and organization I've always thought he would like to be a part of. And after the meeting, he had a renewed appreciation for his current position and energized to push our team forward. Sometimes the best opportunity is one you have now. Isn't that so true?
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
And I'm the king of this. Mm-hmm. I'm the king of always wanting to look over the fence. Now, I've been with one main company for 10 years, so I obviously don't jump the fence, but I get
you
tempted.
Get hit up a lot with job opportunities.
Yeah, I get tempted a lot, but it also does always make me realize how good I got it where I'm at. Like that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And my mentor told me a long time ago. He said, Heath, you always listen to all opportunities, but don't take them all. And so I always take every email and every message from any recruiters, no matter how kind of way not even close to a job I do or anything. I always take it and meet them, because then I'll try to help maybe refer somebody, and then I know that person. So if the day ever comes where I need something, where I need a job or anything, like I've got a lot of people in the pipeline, but it always does make me appreciate what I have, because the more you learn about what's out there, the more you realize, holy crap, I've got it pretty good.
Right.
And I think that's something that sometimes some people stay so loyal they won't ever listen to anybody, any other opportunities. When it's not being disloyal, it's listening. Like he said, my mentor said, listen to all opportunities, but it doesn't mean you take them.
Right.
And that's what's key.
Yeah. I'll always take the phone call, and I've had a handful after I left radio full time of people who I ran into, through the business, and they've moved on to other things, but they remember me, and they'll call me up and say, hey, this job sounded right for you. And I'll always sit and talk with them about it. I haven't taken any of them, but I'm willing to hear them out, because you never know. I mean, you really never know what could come up.
And if anything, it may come back and renew your sense of where you're at.
Yeah, I like that perspective too.
Yeah, there was a real neat comment in there by a friend of the show, Javier. This stuck with me since I read it last week. I got home and told Christine about it that night. He said a salesman once told him, the grass isn't what do you say? I'm going to paraphrase. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. The grass is greener wherever you wet it. And I thought that was really cool.
It is.
Like, it's a really neat line. I've never heard it put that way before.
You keep looking over the fence, but you forget to water your own yard.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I thought that was good. And another one, I'm not going to say this person's name because I don't know him, but they posted in the group, said, I've been putting some thought into the Dak Prescott situation. So Dak Prescott came out and just, the Dallas Cowboys, the Nillen situation, he just said that he's not going to sit in the locker room. He's going to stand for, he just basically agreeing with his employer and doing the right thing here there to play football. I don't blame him. I mean, that's his to his each their own, right?
Sure.
But I'm not much on politics, but I'd like to get some second shot thoughts on what I've been thinking about. When a boss or fellow colleagues ask you for your opinion on a hot button controversial topic, how should you handle responding it? Do you give the honest answer, or do you defer the question? I look forward to hearing your thoughts on this idea. How easy does this happen to? How many times do different colleagues around or anything will come in, maybe assuming you hate Trump and start bashing Trump when you really like him, or or the opposite, or any of those type of things?
Sure.
What do y'all do?
I definitely cheated on my I try to keep things slim on social media. That's why I like Twitter so much. I don't like posting big.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about hearing colleagues that work in this office with you.
This one I posted a whole paragraph on because I was like, there's a lot to unpack there. I try to keep it pretty trim, and it doesn't always work. Matt knows. Like sometimes I'll be honest. I got days when I come in and I'm like, I saw this thing on the news, you wouldn't believe it, and it's fine. I think we're all human, and I think it's understandable to a point. But I try to keep it pretty chill, only because upstairs we're always running TVs with news up there, and there's a couple people. One in particular, I got in my head. I won't mention him. He likes to roll over and try to talk shop, and on a lot of points we agree. But even still, I'm like, hey, let's wait till like 5-ish, right? Like 5 o'clock, people clear out. Happy to talk all you want, but like let's try to keep it a little suppressed during the day for the sake of everybody's sanity, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, my take on this is that, look, you're going to have enough like potential disagreements when you're working with people day in, day out about just like personality conflicts or whatever. There's enough potential conflict in a workplace, and isn't it ideal for you to have as many friends at work as possible, as many people that think that you're agreeable?
Right.
As soon as you start giving an intense political belief,
but what about
divides.
if you're the person? What she's asking is the person who likes to come in and share their personal opinion.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there listening to it. How do you react? That's what she's
asking. They lay it
asking.
on you.
She's saying, what is like, when a boss or fellow colleague asks you for your opinion on a hot button or controversial topic, how should you handle responding? Do you give the honest answer or do you further the question? I'm always a fan of this.
Yeah, tell me what you do, because I think it's harder when it's a boss, because you're like, oh man, does the boss like want to be boss cool with me? Like they're trying to talk about things from outside of work.
Look, I just go along with them. I don't like if somebody came in and I hate the color blue. Let's say I hate the color blue, okay? Yeah. And somebody came in and was bashing blue, and they were telling me all about it. I may just sit there and go, oh yeah, and go on. Like I'm not like I only have enough fight in me, and that type of stuff is so it doesn't mean anything to me that it's not worth it for me to do, right? And if somebody asks me some of that, I will always be one of those. If they're asking me for my opinion on this or that, I'd be like, well, what do you think? Just because I just rather stay neutral. And I know some people go, oh, well, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall. It's not that I ain't standing for it. I'm not,
You can do that outside work.
Well, but I'm not standing for it. It's just conversation, right? I mean, there's a difference of if my integrity is in challenge for something, I'm going to stand up for myself, right? But if it's just somebody asks my opinion on something, I'll be like, oh, what are your thoughts on that? I always ask questions, and so kind of deferring the question basically. Mm-hmm. Just ask questions, just because it ain't worth it. I mean, and I respect everybody's opinions enough that
to hear them out.
But I just prefer to not get in the middle of it. Yeah, myself.
You're not serving the ball. You're just returning it over the net. Yeah. Just bounce it back. I got you.
I just bounce it back, because I'm not going to sit there and solve the world's problems with that person.
Right, and it's not necessarily better if you're like, hey, listen, let's not do this, right? Yeah. Like, that's not necessarily a better answer.
Then it's even kind of weird. But if you just ask questions back and let them talk, because they obviously just want to get it off their chest
they just want to talk.
Yeah, just let them go at it. I mean, it's not. Does it hurt you? Are you hurt because of it? No, just ask them the questions. Don't engage in it, though, because you don't want to be sitting there and engaging in it, and your thoughts can be and your words can be used in not a positive way when you didn't mean it a certain way or anything like that. I like to just defer it and ask questions back.
See, I kind of struggle with that a little bit, because if somebody did say something, for example, that was like overtly racist or homophobic or against a certain religious, I do kind of struggle with that. I don't find that happens very often. If somebody is really overt about something like that.
Sure.
But I would that would probably be a situation where I might say something.
Right. If they come in real hot, they drop something real bad.
I'm just kind of like, whoa, I'm in this experience right now, and I feel like a little bit of an obligation to maybe say, okay, maybe you don't have knowledge on this issue, or maybe don't talk about that around me. But no, for the most part, I mean,
you should. It should never.
Nobody knows my political beliefs.
It should never. It should never move your character or your integrity, but mostly if they're just talking about conversations, it's not asking you to do something that you're not comfortable doing. That's different. Just conversation is not questioning your character. That's what a lot of people go, well, that's not what I believe, so I'm not, but it's just conversation. Now,
you don't have to pipe up.
You don't have to pipe up. Yeah. If your boss says, I want you to go over that person and make a racist remark, that's different.
That's very different.
That's something I'm like, no. Would no, you know what I mean? That's where a lot of people like stand behind that whole like, oh, I'm standing up for something, right?
Sure.
And it's like that's if they're asking you to do something that's not your character or integrity, that's different. If it's just conversation, just ask questions back and get their thoughts and let them get it off, because don't judge people on their thoughts, and I don't judge people on their opinions. So but I'm always interested in learning. I always am interested in understanding why people think certain ways. What did I say?
I am always interesting.
I know
you are always interesting.
I know, hon. Thank you, hon.
If you're playing poker with people and they want to show you their cards, like go for it.
Go for it.
I'm not gonna you're not gonna see
and
mine.
Look, you never
but
know.
It's fine.
You may learn something.
Sure.
The best way to learn things is to figure out why people think a certain way. So I'm curious. So I'm a natural person going to ask those questions because I'm curious to why people do or do not, instead of looking for the fight. Like if you go in there with asking questions, it's a curious mindset. If you go in there with a attack back, it's a fight, and it never works out. So that's just my opinion. So join the group on Facebook, Second Shot, and become a member and join in some of these fun conversations. Where can they find you at, hon?
JennyAndChondo.com, at Jenny and Chondo on Instagram and Facebook, and Jenny and Chondo TV on Twitter. And if you write a review for the show, screenshot it, tag me, and I'll repost you.
Ooh.
You can find me at AppleZacintosh on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll be on that Facebook group as well. Tell you what, if you have one of those, if you're on Twitter, throw me a Second Shot picture. I'll retweet it. I'll do it.
Perfect.
I'm down. Why not? Yeah.
At Heath Oaks or at Ignorance on Fire, secondshotcast@gmail.com. Send us an email and leave us a review right now. But I love you. See you next time.
You're listening to RNCN, the digital destination for premium talk radio.